Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah wa alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Welcome guys. Today we're going to be discussing the Trinity. Is it monotheistic or polytheistic? And why would the Christians go through all of this? Which I'm going to show you. They have a criteria, by the way, for polytheism. They have a criteria for polytheism that if these are not met, somehow there will be polytheism. Okay, and I'm going to show you why it doesn't work. It never worked back then, and it's going to work today. Now, the idea of the Trinity is similar to this, okay? You have the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and they have one common thing between them, which is the divine nature, the Usia. They have one Usia. But this picture might look like this problematic, but in their real essence, each one of them is fully divine, okay? Each one of them has this divinity, the divine Usia, fully, and yet they are distinct, meaning they have their own individual property, which I've shown in other videos. So, for example, the Father he has his own individual property plus the divine nature, okay? He has the divine nature, so the Father is fully divine in that sense, and the Son and the Holy Spirit likewise. Now, the Christians have set some criteria for polytheism, that if they don't have this, even them, they have like criteria like if they don't have this, then it's polytheistic. And I'm going to show you why. This is not what judges polytheism. None of them judges what is polytheistic or not. Now, let's go over them one by one. The first one is love, okay? So you have people like the social Trinitarians. They've actually admitted that, see, you actually have three beings there. Three beings, they have their own center of consciousness and will. They have everything individually. They are fully persons and fully divine, okay? They have full divinity and they have full personhood. These are social Trinitarians. And then, how do you maintain this kind of thing? Now you have three beings. How is that monotheism? You think you have one? No. They said, for example, the first criteria is love. That, okay, normally, these three beings that we are talking about, they love themselves necessarily. The love ties them together. So they talk about unity, okay? They want to maintain like the unity of the persons. So there are many ways they use. The first one is love. So they will say the persons love each other. The question is, remember, how does that make them one God? Just because three gods love themselves? Just imagine, whenever you hear this, if you have three gods, there are three beings. You have three beings here, but the only difference is that you're telling us that maybe the three gods that I'm conceptualizing, maybe these three gods, they don't love each other. Does that change that they are three? They are still three, whether they love each other or not. So they use love. Love does not work, guys. If three people love each other, three human beings love each other, it doesn't make them one human being, okay? That's the first one. Then the second one, they said eternal procession. Okay, eternal procession. They will say if eternal procession is not true, then the persons are then you have polytheism. So I've shown you why love doesn't work. So they are polytheistic. Even the love doesn't work. The second one, we go to eternal procession. They say even from that word eternal procession. The first one, let's deal with the eternal. They are saying that, see, if you are saying that the persons are not eternal, meaning the Father, even though the Father generates the Son and the Holy Spirit, they say it's an eternal cause, an eternal effect. And this is where the Arians left the chart. The Arians are like, no, the cause must precede this effect. Therefore, the Son and the Holy Spirit, they are not eternal. They booted them out. The Arians, they still have three divine beings there. And these guys also, they have three divine beings. The only difference now is eternal. My question is, how does eternal change the fact that you have three gods? If you have three gods that are not, one of them is eternal and the other ones are caused. There are still three gods. If you now have three gods there are three divine ultimate principles, they are eternal. They've always existed. You still have three gods. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't work, the fact that they are eternal. Okay, so the Arians and the Orthodox, both of them, they are polytheistic with that regard. Now, the other one is procession, meaning they are saying, see, if the Son and the Holy Spirit did not proceed from the Father, then you are polytheist. That's polytheism. What they are saying is that if the Son and the Holy Spirit did not proceed from the Father, that means they are of another essence, of another Usia. Okay? So they are saying you must affirm this. Because if you reject that means they are not the same being. If they are not the same being, they are just three gods, clearly. The Arians are like, they are not the same being, of course. So the Arians, they charge us polytheists, okay, because of this, that they are three gods. So my question is, just because they proceed from, imagine if there's a man, he has two sons, okay, these two sons, they are from him, okay, does that mean they are one? No. So eternal procession, just because they proceed from the same source, the Father, it doesn't mean they are one God. It just means there are three gods that somehow they are causally dependent on each other. Okay, that's the only difference. It doesn't preserve monotheism. Now let's go to the next point. They say they are homoousios. Okay, homoousios means they have the same being. Okay, when you hear this, well, what do you mean by the same being? The same divine nature. That's what they're saying. The same divine nature, meaning the Father has it fully. Whatever that divine nature is, the Father has it, the Son has it, the Holy Spirit has it. How does that not make you three gods? Just because they are of similar kind, it doesn't mean they are not three. Okay. For example, replace this divine nature, put human nature in there, and put A, B, C, that are men. Now, just because we share this same human nature, it doesn't mean individually we are not fully human. Individually, we are fully human. Therefore, you can say we have three human beings. Okay? The same way, if you say this is what's going on here, it just makes them three gods that are very related to each other, very, very close. So I think the whole project is all about how can we maintain them so that they are so close that it's not like the other gods. So if you go to like polytheistic gods, they fight each other, they always fighting war, and they can, all of that. But this one, they want to make sure they are from the same source. They are three gods, but they are very closely related. It doesn't change the fact that there are three gods. Remember, polytheism and monotheism issue is about quantity, not quality. All this stuff is quality. I've told you. Now, the next one is perichoresis. There's something called perichoresis. You might think it's funny, but it's like a dance. Okay? So they believe, the idea is that they're inseparable. That's the whole idea. The fact that, like, imagine three men that are intertwined and they're dancing in an eternal dance that is like a rhyme together. So the whole point they're trying to say is that they are inseparable. Now, imagine three gods that are inseparable. It doesn't change the fact that there are three gods. That's what they don't get. So they talk about, there are three gods, they are inseparable. So what if they are inseparable? As long as they are fully divine, there are three gods there. Okay. Then the last one is that they will say they have one action. Okay. So they have one action. But actually, it's not true. If you say they have one action, they don't have one act. They can have one particular goal they are trying to achieve. And I will show you even if we agree that they are doing the same action, meaning imagine three men that walk at the same stride. They do the same things at the same time. It doesn't change the fact that they are three. But even in this case, we know that they don't do the same act. For example, when the Son became incarnate, the Father didn't do that. The Father might agree, he might will to do it too, but it doesn't mean he did it. If you say he did it, you're just a modalist. What are you saying then? If the Father became incarnate, what are you talking about? It's the Son that did it. So they can walk towards a particular end. It doesn't change the fact that there are three. Remember that, guys. All these things I've told you is what I've gathered from all of their papers and all the defense they've given. The biggest scholars, they don't talk about monotheism in the sense that, they talk about these kind of things that love, eternal procession, homoousios, perichoresis, one action, one work. Okay? All of this does not preserve monotheism. All of this is just showing us three gods that are somehow, in a very unique sense, they are so intertwined. They are inseparable. They love each other. They dance. They proceed from each other. They're causally dependent on each other. They have one same essence. Okay? It doesn't change the fact that there are three. The moment you have three persons with full divinity, you have three gods. There's no other excuse. I hope you learn a lot from this video. And if there's anything you've heard them use, also put it in the comment section. I want to say, but these are the major ones. I'm telling you, these are the major ones you will hear, because all these ones I've given you, they cause a lot of controversy, especially the eternal possession part, the homoousios part. Okay, homoousios was the one they gave in the Council of Nicaea. Okay, after these homoousios, these guys left the chart. And by the way, let me just tag something in here. See, this homoousios idea, when it was first declared, many people had different ideas about this homoousios. It doesn't have one meaning. The meaning I just gave you here, that's the meaning of how people like, for example, Gregory of Nyssa, this is how they understood it. Okay, a universal essence. There's some people that want to take the individual essence part. That will be another video, but they will not be talking about all this. Because if they already won, why would you be telling me how they love each other? I don't care. This is not about monotheism. That's about another thing. Okay, so the point is that there were some people, the modalists that believe the Father is Son and the Son is Holy Spirit, they were using this kind of idea of homoousios. Then they even call it monoousios. So when you translate this homoousios, don't make that mistake. Don't think they have the same essence in the sense that they have one essence. No, that's what the modalists will say. The modalists will say they have monoousios, one substance, uno substantia, something like this. It doesn't mean that the persons of the Trinity, they have actually one substance in that sense, because that would be modalistic, okay? But what they are trying to say, and if you want to maintain the distinction of the persons, you just lead to partialism. If you try to go that route, the homoousios here is just like a universal essence, like a human being, the humanity that we all share. We all have the same ousia. We are not dogs. Dogs have another kind of ousia. We are humans. We have the same ousia. Okay, but even within the human community, you cannot have another thing. In the case of one family, they have their own special ousia. Okay, they are much more related than another family, but they are all humans. So even in any way, there will never be a case, whether it's one family, whether it's one humanity, where you have more than one persons having full divinity or humanity, where you now have more than one. And when you have more than one, you're polytheist. If you have any other defense, I want to see it in the comment section. So guys, I hope you learn from this video. So see you guys next time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.